I fully realize that a video like this is completely out of character and this is not the type of content you expect of me. I say content even though I didn't release a video for a few years, but fuck it. This is something that has been on my mind lately and I just want to talk about it, okay? So, Petscop. This thing has blown up lately, taking many people by surprise. You either heard of it and is following everything that is happening that connects to the Petscop, or you never heard of it. In this case, you're missing out. Essentially, Petscop is a game about collecting pets like in Pokemon, gathering collectibles, exploring beautiful levels, and apparently it's also about the child abuse. Petscop is a creepypasta in a Let's Play format, and it is done absolutely brilliantly. Let's get this out of the way first, but I'm sure you already know it. The game doesn't exist. Petscop is a story which is told in a new and an interesting format, something that I didn't see much of. I strongly encourage you to stop this video now and go watch Petscop yourself. Link is in the description. First of all, you need to see this masterpiece for yourself. And second of all, this video will probably make no sense to you unless you actually seen the Petscop. So go ahead, watch it. There are 10 episodes as of making this video and come back to me, and I'll share my new theory on it. Okay? Done? Alright, let's proceed. Well, first of all, I don't claim to know anything, and any information and theory I give is probably false, considering the vagueness of the subject. There's also a lot of other people theory crafting for this game, and most things they said can be true as well. In this video, I will try to debunk some of the most famous theories and present my own. The most prominent theory right now is the Candice Tiara new maker theory. I won't go into too much detail about it, as I'm sure others already covered it, and it's honestly a little bit disgusting. Basically, an adopted girl was not accepting her new parents and was sent to undergo an attachment therapy, where they wrapped her up in the blankets and an adult pushed on her with his entire body to simulate birth and told her to fight her way through. She would see the foster parents when she was born, and she would accept them, which is the theory behind it, but unfortunately, as one would expect from such rough treatment, the girl suffocated. A truly sad turn of events. Confirmation of this is everywhere in the game, which is why this is the most popular theory. There's named Tiara popping up in the game, the 2 calls the main character, who is named Paul by the way, a new maker. There's a room which is named Quitter's Room, which is what therapists apparently called Candice before she died, and there's a note that says, "Do you remember being born?" With so much overwhelming evidence of the connection, there is no wonder why this is the most talked about theory, but I think it's wrong. While author may have alluded to the case in this game to set us up on the right track, I don't think at all this is a prominent theme here. If you take everything that is said and shown in the game at face value and forget that this is a creepypasta and it is actually happening, let's look at some things that disprove this theory. First of all, the most compelling evidence I have is in the first video. The Paul reads us a note which he got with the game.
The reason we're here is because in the note that came with this, which is short, the first line in all capital letters, I'm going to read it. It says, "I walked downstairs, and when I got to the bottom, instead of proceeding, I turned the right and became a shadow monster man." Below that, a date, June 13th, 1997. "For you, please go to my website on the sticker, and also go to Ronith's room, and press start, and press down, 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 right, start."
June 13th, 1997. PlayStation was released in 1995, so that applies. But Candy's new maker died in April of 2000s. I assume that this game that Paul bought is very old, as when he's talking with somebody he said that his mom had this game, implying that this game been in this family for some time. So if you assume that the note and the game came about in 1997, there is no way that creator knew about Candy's new maker case to make all those connections. The date of June 13th is actually Friday the 13th, which could be written off as just an Easter egg, but I do believe that in this game, where attention to detail is exceptional, there would be just no throwaway date like this. So, unless the creator of the said game can see the future, which is possible, by the way, there is no chance that there is connection between this game and the New Maker case, I think. Second of all, when Paul asked the question who he is, the tool replies with New Maker, which made many people to make the connection in the first place. But when he asked who is Tiara, the tool replies with Petscop kid very smart, almost in an ironic manner, as if the author is laughing at us for making this obvious connection. So who are we exactly? I do believe that the New Maker in this case is not a name, but a title of some sorts. I will talk about this later. Apparently, the name of the character that Paul plays is Petscop Kid. Plus, the place where he is called Newmaker's Plane. Once again, a little weird to call the whole place in the name of one girl, even though there are so many characters in it. And finally, the Quitter's Room. This is the only named room in the game, which is very weird. It is placed in such position so we, the player, will see it clearly. If you think about it from the inside of the game, why would you put letters Quitter's Room up to the wall in a child's room? It makes no sense. Quitter could be a surname, or even a name, rather than just a bad word. With a little Google search I found out what does the name Quitter mean. Take this information with a grain of salt, of course, but I thought it's a little interesting. A relationship with unknown forces gives you secret strength and an air of mystery. You're deep. You seems to know what people think. You are basically peacemaker. You understand the law of harmony and desire to balance your life with those around you. So what does this all mean? I have no idea so far. I've tried to search for Quitter's name, maybe some famous person is connected with it, but so far this has been fruitless. Maybe you'll be more lucky than I am. The game has a very strong theme of adoption throughout it. I do believe the place that Paul is exploring is an adoption center, as evident by the kids' rooms that he explores, which still have kids by the way. The character himself is looking for a child to adopt, hence the name Newmaker, maker of the new family perhaps. Newmaker Plane, a place where the new families are created, and the place which Paul explores could be the alternative version of it. Obviously something really bad happened in this adoption center, and it is my assumption that Paul himself, not the character, a person playing this game, his mother, and maybe even his friend, are somehow connected to it. I do believe Paul was adopted and something horrible happened to him, or he did something horrible while he was in this center, but he doesn't remember for one reason or another. Let's look at the evidence. In the second episode, Paul finds a gravestone which says Michael Hammond, 1988 and 1995. Mike was a gift. Well, first of all, imagine you see this stone for the first time. What are your first immediate thoughts? Do you count the numbers and make an assumption that this kid is dead? I don't know. When I first saw this, even before Paul said anything, I thought a person died here. But Paul is instantly drawn to the fact that this is in fact a kid who is dead. He also says it in the most disinterested voice.
That's a dead kid. That's a dead kid. That's a dead kid.
Also, the phrase that Mike was a gift implies that Mike could be adopted, as Paul was as he jumps into the gift later to only appear in the real world center again. Paul was a gift also. Once again, we are working with the assumption that Paul was in this adoption center in the real life, but has no recollection of it. So Mike could be his friend. Also, something of note, when Paul asks where is the school, which is supposedly the school that he went to when he was in the adoption center maybe, I'm not sure how exactly this works, but I think in this case, the game addresses him personally, saying you can't go back in time. Like maybe Paul wants to fix something or prevent something, but no, he can't go back in time. I do think the game addresses Paul directly here, not the character. Another evidence is the sensor bars.
What the fuck?
I am almost certain there is nothing graphic or awful behind this, but instead something that is connected with Paul's real life. Maybe it says that Paul is a gift, or even the player's real name, because we don't know for certain that the player's name is Paul. Or maybe the proof of something bad that happened to or with Paul while he was in the center. Whatever it is under those sensor bars, it's something that is very personal to a player, which is why it is censored. and I'm led to believe that it's not Paul who censored it. Someone else who is uploading videos did it, as evident by this message. We, it says. We, as in friends of Paul, who are with him in the adoption center. See the strange wording? Some things we are expecting to censor. They know where the things will appear, but they don't know what exactly will appear. Once again, I think Paul and his friends went through some traumatic event at the adoption center, and the person who uploads the videos either remembers or knows about it. So he realizes that if the game is extremely personal to them, the memories of some things that he has might be in it. He didn't see it yet, but the person who uploads videos assumes that they will be in the game. Hence why he wrote a message like this. Probably for the safety of their identity, he's expecting to blur out things that might say their personal information or something that has happened. Notice also how Paul himself never says that he's going to censor something. It is done post-edit. Anyway, this is my theory. Paul was adopted. Something horrible happened at the adoption center. Paul has no memory of it. This game was made as a reminder to Paul, and he encounters all sorts of personal things. And the person who uploads remembers and actively removing any personal details. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with this theory? Do you at all enjoy this type of content? Please do tell me in the comments. I'm interested in your opinion. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day.
What?